Greetings, this is Junior Morgan of Bob Marley and the Wailers. The time has come for the lion to tell his story. And we have here the lion voice. So listen in and get nourishment for the stomach and for the head cup. Jah Rastafari.
Give thanks.
Give thanks.
What do you have to tell the people about Rastafari?
Light to the world. King of kings and the conquering line of the tribe of Judah. I like himself. Where's rightful ruler? Hey yo! Yeah. Hail them high, hail the black king on the 23rd of July. So tell them guy who praise God up in the sky, it's a lie. The Almighty living on your night. From ancient time them a try. Them Romans know them just open them suit and ties. Criminals ain't got no alibi, they stole my people. Then them come without them genocide.
Are you talking about slavery?
Them couldn't kill the lion we come conquer Judah tribe.
Who?
Go through tribulation, and I strive, see sufferation, and I still rise. That's why we tell them in America, live Rastafari in every ghetto area. We come if you tell them in a Toronto, straight at
The second element that you need to say that you are Rastafari is to acknowledge the teachings of His Imperial Majesty as being the supreme teaching upon the face of the earth, meaning that that is the law. Haile Selassie, Judah is the lawgiver, the conquering lion of the tribe of Judah, sit on the highest court in Ethiopia. Above all the appeals, he's the final sound. You know what I mean? It's in the Constitution. You can read it during his reign. So you have to acknowledge that from legal, heretical standpoint that His Majesty is the law, is the lawgiver. And this is where the conflict comes with the brethren who are Rasta but not Rastafari. They do not acknowledge the teaching of His Majesty. If His Majesty says something that conflict with what them a deal with, them lick it down. You know what I mean? I say they don't have to follow that, them not deal with that. All of these things, it's stupidness. You know what I mean? Them use all kind of word sound for deal with. And imagine, you know, His Majesty sit on the throne and the whole away dead in the throne room and His Majesty a teach and a man of war back and forth with His Majesty. That wouldn't be congruent with Rastafari. You know? And like I said, that doesn't mean that we cannot work with these brethren. That doesn't mean that we must be warring with these brethren. But just we have to understand, and again, this is to the core. This is even for I and I as Rastafari, if you know we self, know we one another. Because there are ones out there who are saying they are Rasta and we think it's all in a oneness. But they are in opposition to the teaching of His Majesty. So if you're trying to work and to implement the teaching of His Majesty with a man that feels his foolishness, how is that going to work? No. We can implement the teaching of His Majesty from a core basis, and we may subcontract a piece of that work to a man who have a skill, who don't feel like, you know, that's a different thing. But we have to be clear, you know what I mean? In this time of revelation, everything needs to be very clear. And those ones, again, you cannot be Rastafari and in opposition to Rastafari. That's a house divided against itself surely fall. So we just have to be clear. And I big up all my Rasta brethren them. You know what I mean? Big up the Rasta brethren them. You know what I mean? Because, you know, a lot of positive creativity and thing come out of Rasta brethren. And the ironic thing is that the inspiration for the Rasta brethren is His Imperial Majesty. They just have not fully humbled themselves under the Divine order, come into compliance, the rebelliousness, you know what I mean? Enough of the beating we get as a family. Because if we were following Rastafari teaching from them time, that we would have established, it says agriculture is a prerequisite to industrialization. You know what I mean? Even as we built all of these superstars in the music, we would have had farms, we would have been doing all kind of things. They would have been, you know what I mean? But we were rebellious, you know what I mean? Rasta get rebellious and do Rasta what Rasta want to do, and we are where we are. So when we talk about the acknowledging the speeches, we're also talking about the autobiography, 1 and 2. We're also talking about the different interviews. We're talking about word sound, because one of the things from the throne, anything officially that's coming, and we understand that they are speech writers, we understand the process, but everything has to be approved through His Majesty. And how it works, for those who are not familiar from a legal framework, and this is spiritual law coming down through generation to generation, is that Haile Selassie is the voice of the people. So that's why the royal, they speak in we. You're never going to see His Majesty say I. It's always translated as we, because he's speaking for the Ethiopian people. You'll never see a speech of His Majesty where you don't talk about the Ethiopian people. So and by extension, with the establishment of the Organization of African Unity in Addis Ababa, bringing the African nations and tribes and kingdoms together in the Holy Mountains. By extension, this is for all African people, because this is now the independent, sovereign African king speaking on behalf of the world. This is how I cited, on a granular level. So I'm saying this for all of the new, young people who might be new to the channel. You just see Bob Marley and you want to know, how do I become Rastafari? Well, yes, it's important to follow the elders and know the tradition of how it rolls. There were Rastafari in America, there are Rastafari in Jamaica. Jamaica's where the movement really coalesce and become global to the world. That's where the seed was planted on the fertile ground, Judah, acknowledging David throne first before the entire world. So you can study all of that, and that's important. Different books about Rastafari you can read. You can talk to the elders, but the key as a brethren is that you need to go straight to the source. This is how I shot up into the movement. I studied straight from the source, His Majesty, and the ones who I've met who stay on the source. These are the ones who have stayed productive, who have not grown weary, who are on the battlefield doing mighty works in their respective fields. So I would tell the young brethren, right, so the thing that, whether you're a farmer, grassroots, whether but the ones who hold on to Haile Selassie within that fullness, and big up Ras Tafari, Ras Miguel, printing the wise mind, the bite-sized chunks of the speech, inspiring ones within the grassroots and thing who might not sit down and read a big massive book, but they will sip upon the little utterances and things. So that's what I'm talking about. That is, amongst all of these words sound, constitute the law for I and I. However, again, there's a generation rising, and a generation that has always been there, that holding on to the teaching, and they're coming together now, and work is being done, and we're going to bring it to the item here on the Lion Voice. So if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe the item, subscribe, hit the notification bell. This is the uprising of Rastafari on this platform.
Well, the leaders of the world have failed in their responsibility to lead the youths them to a brighter future. Well, I and I hear the conquering line of the tribe of Judah, Earth's rightful ruler. How just the way Rastafari crowned, unconquerable. We come to tell them now Babylon they're falling down. Tafari dismantle you. We come to tell them about the way Rastafari crowned, unconquerable. We come to tell them now Babylon they're falling down. Tafari dismantle you. We come to tell them about Holy Palace intrigue, fighting between Solomon seed. Well, Empress tried to want her family to lead. Well, King Michael want him son to lead, but King Michael now watch the orphan married to him niece, who get up every day and a study and a read. He work and he pray every day. He achieve. Them say you're the leader. Every nation need a just the way Rastafari crown. Unconquerable. Me come to tell them about Babylon, they're falling down to far right. It's uncle you. Me come to tell them about the Rastafari crown. Unconquerable. Me come to tell them about Babylon, they're falling down to far right. It's uncle you. Well, Ras Michael, son was having a good time when he should mind the affairs of the state, cause he's descent from the great line of Menelik II, but he's stepping on toes of his elders, treat his women like hoes, he exposed. Now we working with the Ottoman Turks, say he's descending from Muhammad, but that's not how this works. See, the crown was anointed by the Orthodox Church, so if you are ruling as I, then you have to put Christ first.